So coming to a comfortable seat, if you know that you're a little tighter in this pelvic girdle area, so you would know this. If you sit down and the knees are way up above the hips, grab a little height. So maybe that's a bolster, a cushion from the couch, maybe a couple of blankets, just so that you can let those knees start to release down. And then just feet down. So we're trying to cross at the center of the shins. Again, if you're a little tighter in the hips, that might not be happening. So the knees might be out a little wider, but you move in that direction. Good, and then let's roll our shoulders back a few times. And then roll them forward. Good, roll back again. And then just allowing your shoulders to release down your back. Place your hands on your thighs. So if you feel like you need a little grounding today, it's really windy out here in Denver. So palms down just helps you to kind of anchor down into your sit bones more. If you're needing a little inspiration, turn your palms up. And then close your eyes if they're not already and start to drop into your JaBoYo breath. So nice, steady inhale through your nose, creating that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. And then exhaling through your nose, so creating that same sound. Starting out, the inhale might feel easier, the exhale might feel easier, they might feel a little uneven. So we move towards creating the symmetry with the breath, the inhale and the exhale. And it might be helpful for you to inhale to the count of 5 or 6, and then exhale to that same number. And then just as important as this evenness of the inhale and the exhale, I also want you to notice how there is this space at the top of the breath and this space at the bottom of the breath. You're neither inhaling nor exhaling. It is this perfect stillness. So really try to exist in that minuscule moment. Soak up that silence. See if you can transfer a little of that sensation to the inhale and the exhale. As you root into your sit bones and lengthen through your spine, notice if your shoulders start to creep up around your ears. So it happens without us being aware. So just soften them down. Have you started to grip your toes here? Maybe the inner thigh, the groin. Can you soften there? So it's not that this easy pose, this Sukhasana doesn't require effort. It does. But we want to make sure that we're applying the right effort in the right places. So we don't want to get muscles involved that don't need to be. And then your chin is just parallel to the floor here. Maybe you start to tuck it ever so gently so you get that lengthening in the back of your neck. This might allow you to hear that sound of your JaBoYo breath a little more. It amplifies it. If your attention wanders, come back to your breath. It's going to happen. And then just put your brain down into your legs. See, without peeking, if you can tell which leg is crossed in front. Maybe you'll have to reach down and touch. And then go ahead and extend legs to straight. Recross with the left shin in front. And again, just trying to find the center. Do that with your eyes closed. So developing that sense of proprioception in your body. Where am I in space? And then maybe peek really quick. See how you did. Make any little adjustments that you need to. Close your eyes again. And And rather than thinking of inhaling through your nose, which is what we are doing, I want you to pretend that the nostrils are in your sit bones. So you're really breathing up from the bottom of your belly, and then I want you to feel all the way up to your chest, that slight pause. And then exhale the air out. So seeing if you can get the breath a little fuller, physically feeling that. Everything contracts and empties out as you exhale. Let's do 2 more rounds like that. Soaking up that sound of the breath is the best soundtrack. Good, and then just letting the breath be a little easier, that ujjayi breath still, but maybe not quite as expansive, quite as full, just a couple breaths like that. Good, blink your eyes open. As you inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, tense all the muscles in your face, and then exhale, let them go. A couple times like that. Inhale, scrunch up. It feels uncomfortable, but when we exhale and let it go, it feels so good. Scrunching up. Letting it go one more time. Scrunch really tight. Sip in a little more air. And let it go. Ha. Good. So making your way to your tabletop position. And you both are seasoned yogis today. So once you find your setup, you're just going to start to move with your breath. Do you make sure that your fingers are spreading, shoulders over wrists, knees under hips, and then find that engagement of your lower belly here. So it's pulling in and up. As you inhale, you're arching. Exhaling, you're rounding in. And if they're not already closed, go ahead and close your eyes. This is nice. So our eyes really, they're kind of what brings the world in. And we want to get quiet. We want to go inward here. So closing the eyes helps us to do that. And maybe you're paying extra careful attention to your spine today. How is it feeling? Where is the movement a little easier? Where does it feel a little constricted and challenged? As you come into that cat stretch, really let the back of your neck lengthen and release. As you come into the cow stretch, really trying to find that sense of cobra pose. So chest pops forward through the gates of your shoulders. Good. So inhale to your cow stretch. Couple of breaths here. And even though we're getting this big arch in our lumbar, can you still pull your belly towards your ribs? You might lose a little bit of that arch. That's okay. You're breathing here, and then we're going to go the opposite direction. So start to press the mat vigorously away. Let the back of your neck round, and then the belly button is definitely pulling in. It's pulling towards those back ribs. You're looking back at your knees, and then from here, if your toes aren't pointing back, go ahead and stretch the toes back, and then using your belly, those muscles deep inside, just to lift your knees up off the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. So a little core work. Good. Exhale, release down. Inhale, arching. And then just moving with the breath with that little added bit. So exhale, start to round and stretch this exhale out. Press with the tops of your feet. It's like you're going to kiss your knees here. Exhale, lower the knees down. Inhale, find that arch. Let's do 2 more. So exhale, start to round in. Press the mat away. Lift up. Take an inhale. Good. Exhale, release, knees down. Inhale, little sigh of relief. One more. Exhale. Start to round in a lot. Just lifting the knees up a little, squeezing the belly in. Inhaling here. Exhale, release down. One more calf stretch, or cow stretch rather. So arching in the lumbar. And then come back to your neutral spine. Walk your hands forward. Couple of inches, spreading fingers a lot. So wrists are ahead of the shoulders here. Curl your toes under. Keep a bend in your knees as you pull your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Let the neck release. Turn the arms on though. So sometimes we can start to dump in the shoulders, the upper back. So as you press evenly into all 10 knuckles, you're gonna fire up those arms so you feel the inner arm start to wrap towards the outer arm. The outer arm is wrapping towards the floor. Stay on your left tippy toes, start to melt that left heel back any amount. Take a few breaths here. So getting that intense stretch through the back of the leg, back up onto those right tippy toes. And then as you exhale, melt the left heel back. Notice how this side feels different. Send your breath to the back of that left hamstring, the calf. You might even be feeling this in the Achilles. Good. Inhale. Up to tippy toes, that bend in your knees. Slowly start to melt the heels back in and out. They probably won't go as far, moving both at the same time. You might still need to keep a little bend in your knees. But as we inhale, we start to pull forward into our plank pose. So find that place deep in your belly, that access those muscles that we were using when we did that little cat stretch up on our knees. Gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips, neck nice and long, and then shift forward on your toes. Slowly lower down. Take about a count of 10 as you pass through your chaturanga to land on your belly. All right, let's reach our arms forward here, so palms face towards each other. We're gonna just keep our head down today, starting out, so just resting on your forehead. As you inhale, right leg, left arm reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, lower. I want you to do that, moving with your breath. You're gonna do 3 to each side. Seeing how long you can get. So you'll end on that right arm, left leg. So just rest for a moment. And then roll a little bit to the outer edges of your feet. Root down into your hip bones, ground into the pubic bone. As we inhale this time, everything lifts up off the mat, head and chest. Roll a bit to the outer edges of your feet. Feel the shoulder blades release down and then they gently squeeze into the mid-back. And then let's take our arms out like kind of a reverse cactus here. So palms are facing down, elbows are out, perpendicular to the shoulders. Maybe you can lift the chest a little higher. Place the feet down. Reach behind you. Interlace fingers if that's available, and then start to drive knuckles towards heels. You could also just be reaching by your sides, so fingers spreading. We're looking for this lift of the heart and chest. Couple more breaths. Good. So if you've got your fingers interlaced, release them, reach back by your side, and then start to bend the elbows. They come underneath the shoulder heads. Our fingers come underneath the shoulder heads. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhaling up. From here, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths there. It might feel nice to take a deep inhale and then sigh the breath out. Good, and you're just finding that place of stillness. These look really nice. Just gazing between your feet. And then start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Little standing cobra here. So just make sure your feet are about hip distance apart, second toe points forward. You can stand a little closer if you feel balanced and steady in your body. As you inhale, you can be on fingertips, hands on shins or thighs, so you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. Exhale, fold back in. Couple like that. Inhale, lengthen. It's that cobra feeling in the upper body, so shoulder heads lift, shoulder blades squeeze in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Good, exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down onto your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Gaze up, press palms, feel that lift of your heart. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart and we start to flow here. So first, just make sure that it feels like your arches are lifting, even if you have flat feet. So that might not actually be happening. But try to press into the four corners of your feet, the mound of the big toe, mound of the little toe, inner heel and outer heel. As you're doing that, you're directing tailbone down, lifting sternum up. Arms by side, palms face forward. And here we go. As you inhale, take up tons of space. As you exhale, gracefully dive in, let the back of the neck lengthen. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So we have 4 more of these. I'm not going to cue you. You both know these really well. Really want you to move with your breath. Maybe close your eyes as you're doing these. So as you're ready, take your time to start to flow here. Soak up how good this feels in your body. Pay attention to your breath. So it's interesting, sometimes as we start to flow here, because we do these sun salutes so much, our attention actually wanders. Our brains are really sneaky. So we'll learn something new and it requires a lot of focus and attention, and then we get good at that. And the brain starts to go places. So notice if that's happening with you, come back to your breath, come back to the sensations in your body. All of that other stuff is going to be there. Right now, you're exploring this physical relationship, you're exploring the relationship that you have with your breath. And then maybe you're like me, and you've lost count. The world won't stop if you do one less or one more. Just resting with your palms together at your heart, eyes closed. Heart might be beating faster, you might be breathing a little faster. You also might feel like you're standing a little taller, starting to feel this fluidity, this sense of ease in the body. So let's start to add on here. So at the top of your mat, as you inhale, stretch up. As you exhale, fold in, let the back of the neck release down. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, keep looking forward, then knees, plant palms, right foot back, then left, shift forward on toes, lower, chaturanga. Let's go ahead and come all the way down again. Inhale, low cobra. You want it to come into your first upward dog here, drag wrists underneath elbows, squeeze them in, press to the tops of your feet, and you can just stay with the low cobra as well. From up dog, you roll over your toes to down dog. From low cobra, you press to tabletop and then down dog. And we'll take a few breaths here. So making tiny little adjustments, spreading the fingers, Rolling the outer arms out, stretching the sit bones up towards the ceiling. These look great. Slowing the breath down a little bit in this downward facing dog. This is the pose that teachers always like to be like, oh, this is a resting pose. Eventually, but it's actually a lot of work. All right, as you inhale, little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes, peek where you're going. Your choice. At the end of your exhale, step right then left or hop through. You can walk forward too. Nice, Jen. Good. As you inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. And then root down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Exhale, hands come together at your hearts. Inhaling, reaching up. Keep that tailbone lengthening down. As you exhale, you can forward, fold in. Good. Inhale, chest extends forward. Gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, left foot back, then right, shifting forward on toes, lower chaturanga. This time you have the option to transition into your upward dog here, or you can lower down and take the back bend of your choice. Exhale, stretch those sit bones up towards the ceiling. Get lots of length in the front of your body and in the back of your body. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Good. As you inhale, little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. Think light thoughts, step left foot forward or spring forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Maybe you're folding it a little deeper as those hamstrings in the back start to warm up. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good. So already start to shift the weight into your heels. Maybe lift your toes up off the mat. Spread them. Inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink a little lower as you exhale, but pull your belly in. Arms can be as wide as they need to, especially if you're tighter in the shoulders. And then from here, we exhale, fold in, start to straighten the legs. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, the knees plant, palms, right foot back, then left, lower, chaturanga. Your variation of that. Inhale, into the back bend that feels best in your body. You can mix and match, nice, kneel. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Keep hips even so those right toes are pointing down towards the mat. Exhale, shift forward, curl knee into nose. So notice how my hips popped up a little bit. I'm gonna lower them and then shift that right arm or right knee off to the right arm, climb it as high as you can. You're breathing, back to center. And then right knee to left elbow, come back to center. Oh, feel the burn. Stretch back, three-legged dog. As you exhale, you're gonna step that right foot forward between your hands. Walk the right foot off to the right a little bit. And then just be on your fingertips here. You can even be on blocks if you're a little tighter. Fire up that back leg. Draw your right hip back. In fact, let's take our right thumb to that hip crease. Just pull that hip back as that happens. You start to direct the left hip forward. All right. So resist the urge to lay down on that front leg. Reach arms forward, which is really, really hard. Breath smooth and steady. And then start to direct your tailbone down. Peel your chest up off that front leg. So crescent pose. And then as we exhale, we're going to take our arms off to the side. So palms face forward. I'm just going to do a little flow here. A little twisting flow. So nice deep inhale, shoulder blades release down back. As you exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Good, one more. Inhale back. Exhale, twist to center. Take another inhale here. Full exhale. Good, inhale, come back to center. Reach arms up overhead. Maybe gaze up, press palms. And then as you exhale, hands come to the mat. So your choice, chaturanga vinyasa, or you step to downward dog. You can keep that right leg lifted as you do this little push-up. Put those toes down. before you come into your back bend. Nice. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Side and breath out. Ha. So you can always do those little sides through the mouth. It's very effective at cooling the body down. Inhale, left leg lifts. Three-legged dog. Toes are pointing down, hips are even. Find your belly already before we even come forward. So exhale, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose. Holding here, breathing, pressing the mat away. And then climb that left knee as high on that left tricep as you can. Back to center. And then twist. Climb it as high on the right arm as you can. Back to center. Oh. Inhale, stretch back. Three-legged dog. As you exhale, you are going to step that left foot through between your hands. And then you don't want to be on a tightrope here. So walk your left foot off to the left. Be up on fingertips or blocks here. Find your belly and then strong, strong legs. And then just shrug your shoulders down your back. Hold on to that feeling as you start to stretch your arms forward. You can just keep your gaze slightly forward. Maybe see if you can raise those biceps, that inner arm, even with your ears. And then root into your legs. Start to peel up. Crescent pose is this glorious stretch on that right hip flexor. Glorious is relative. Sometimes it's really intense. So you navigate that by bending the back knee a little bit if you need to. Right, here we go. Exhale. Release arms out perpendicular to shoulders, palms face forward. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back. Good. Exhale, twisting to the left. Try to keep that deep bend in the front knees. Inhale back. And then exhale, twisting to the left. Few breaths here. Pretend that you have somebody on each wrist gently pulling you apart. Good. As you exhale, come back to center. Inhale, stretch arms up overhead, gaze up. And then as you exhale, hands come to the mat. And again, choices. Downward dog, chaturanga. You can keep that left leg lifted. Just put the toes down before you come into that back bend. And that is to keep the back nice and safe. And then you take a few breaths here in your downward dog. Again, sigh that breath out through your mouth if you need to cool down a little bit. Good, as you inhale a little bit, and your knees come to your tippy toes. And if your exhale, lightly spring forward or step right and left. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, fold in. Inhaling. Utkatasana, chair pose. Good, we're gonna hold here a few breaths, so see if you can sink a little lower. Again, keeping those toes nice and light. Arms can come as wide as they need to. Pull the belly in a little bit. Exhale, sink a little lower. Oh, beautiful. Inhale, press to standing. Hands come together at your heart. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot of heat, which is good. So let's just add on to that. So here we go. Similar kind of variation of our Surya Namaskara. So standing in Tadasana. Inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Then knees plant palms, left foot back, then right foot. Take your version of the Chaturanga Vinyasa, or you skip it. Some days we need to. You pull back to downward dog. So yoga practice is very dynamic, always changing and shifting. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Good, so just kind of stretching out that last sequence we did. Shift forward, right knee to outer right arm. Climb it as high as you can. Inhale, stretch back, three-legged dog. Good, shifting forward, crossing the body. Climb that knee up, it's hard. Inhale, stretch back. Good, exhale. Step that right foot through. Inhale, rise up into your press-up pose. We're gonna turn this in to a little deeper twist. So as you exhale, hands come to heart center. Vigorously press them in towards each other. And then you're gonna feel those shoulder heads press back. Deep inhale. Exhale, start to twist to the right. Hinge forward at your waist and then hook that left arm to the outside of your right thigh. Again, pressing palms towards heart center. Elbows are stacking on top of each other. Fire up that back leg a little more or put your knee on the ground. And then if you'd like to split your arms here, reach that right arm up. Left fingertips come to the outside of that right foot or a block, maybe you gaze up. And these are hard. Try to fill up on the inhale. That looks great, Jen. Looking good, Neil. When we're deep inhale, you're wringing everything out. As you exhale, you unwind, palms plant. So choices. You step back to downward dog. You take that chaturanga vinyasa and be very distinct, especially as we start to get a little tired. So sometimes we can rush through this in a lie, that plank, that chaturanga into the back bend. They are separate poses. Nice work. Right, so back in your downward dog as you inhale. Lift your left leg. Exhale, shift forward. Knee to nose. See how close you can get to the nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, climb that left knee as high as it'll go. Squeeze it into the arm. Inhale, stretch back. Good, exhale. Shift and twist a little harder. Inhale, stretch back. Good, exhale. That action of your belly helps step that foot through. Walk the foot off to the left so you're not on a tightrope. Inhale, rise up, press up pose. So tailbone releases down, sternum reaches up, hold on to all of that length. As you exhale, bringing palms to heart center. Press here, feel shoulder blades release down your back. And then exhale, empty out. Use that emptying sensation to help you find the twist. You hinge forward, snuggle that elbow to the outside of that left thigh. Notice if you start to roll to the outer edge of that foot, press a little more to the mound of the big toe. And then you can just stay here like this, maybe gazing up over that left shoulder. Maybe you split your arms here. If you go there and it just doesn't feel good, you go back to where you were. Really challenging to find a full inhale here. See what you can do. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, unwind, palms plant. Options, downward dog, plank, chaturanga, any variation of that. And then in this downward dog, let's just take a little intermission. So you're gonna start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. So you're kind of coming into the forward fold. You might wanna have blocks here with you too. We're gonna take that right ankle and cross it in front and then fold in. So this is just this great sciatic stretch. Gets into the outer leg, really intense. So you're probably really feeling it in that left glute, that left hamstring. And then if you'd like to go a little deeper, you're gonna start to walk your hands off to the right. And that almost gets it a little more into the lower left back. Hands on blocks is a really great variation here. Check in with your feet. Are you pressing evenly? Try to do so. Good. Walk back to center. Uncross that right ankle. And then take left ankle in front. Folding in. Ooh. How is this side different? This is my side. Send your breath to the places that are tight. Just visualize it creating some ease, some space. You might just be here. You might start to walk your hands off to the left. So just introducing a little twist in to the equation. Smooth and steady, you're letting it slow down in this forward fold. Walk back to center. Uncross that left ankle. Bring your feet to hips distance apart and then start to walk back to your downward facing dog. Good, as you inhale, a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. And your exhale, lightly spring forward or step left and right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, knees down, arms reach up, Uttanasana, chair pose. Exhale, press your legs straight. Hands come together at your heart. Take a couple of breaths here. So we're going to move towards a triangle pose, and we're going to approach it via our sun salutes. So do have a block or a book at the top of your mat for your triangle pose. You can actually maybe put both blocks, if you have two, at the top of your mat, just to have handy. All right, and here we go. As you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, chin. Exhale, fold in, neck releases, legs straighten. Inhale, half forward fold. Then knees plant, palms, right foot back, then left foot, shift forward, lower, chaturanga, or maybe hold back to downward dog, finding your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, inhale, lift that right leg up, and then come up onto those left tippy toes. Keep your torso facing down towards the mat, but start to bend that right knee and open up that hip a little bit. Maybe make circles in the ankle, few times each direction. Good, and then start to extend that right leg. Square the hips off, so those right toes point down. As you exhale, step that right foot through between your hands, and then I want you to walk it off to the left a little bit, spin into the back edge of your right foot, or left foot, so your heel to arch, and then pressing to the inner edge of this left foot, so kind of firming the inseam of the leg. Start to straighten that front leg and open. Roll your ribs up towards the ceiling. So I have my hand on a block. If you don't have a block, you can put your hand on your shin. So giving yourself a little height is nice here. So shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Press more into the back edge of your left foot. As you do that, you might get a little more extension and lift. Your gaze could be down here. You could be looking forward. You might start to look up at that top thumb. Good, so we're going to transition into our Ardha Chandrasana. So if you want to challenge yourself a little bit today, you're going to start to externally rotate that top arm. Bend the elbow, grab a piece of shirt, maybe you can get your fingertips to the inside of that right back. So really use that leverage to help you press that left shoulder head back. Keep your chest this open, just bring your gaze down. Bend your right knee. Walk your block forward about a foot. And then a couple of options here. You can step that back foot in a little bit. If you want to immediately shift the weight into that right foot and lift, you can do so. And as you look back in this pose, you should be able to see your toes. So we're not trying to stack the hips here. This left hip is releasing down a little bit. I'm going to move my block slightly forward so my shoulder is over my wrist. Good. Stretch that top arm up. Fire up that lifted leg. Feel the inner knee wrap towards the outer knee in the standing leg. If you would like to take your Shavasana, bend left knee. See if you can find the foot, and then if you get it, kick that foot into your hand. So beautiful little hip flexor quadricep stretch. All right, extend back out, and then we're going to start to wrap this left hip down. So this is where it might be really nice to have a couple of blocks. And I'm going to actually scoot back on the mat here. So you have a couple of options here. So you're keeping this left leg lifted. So it's like we're coming into standing splits. So you can move in that direction. If you would like to play with some little hops, you're welcome to do that too. So a little handstand prep. So keep that left leg high. Palms plant down, shoulders over wrist, fingers spreading. And not with kick with this upper leg, but hop with the lower leg. Just try a few of those. And it can be a little scary. So go less far than you can. Jenna's gonna kick up into a handstand here. Ah, nice, nice kneel. All right, maybe do one more. Good, and then we're gonna release that left leg to meet the right leg at the top of the mat. As you inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, fold in. Inhaling, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana, chair pose. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Good. Then knees, plant palms. Step your left foot back, then your right foot. Take a chaturanga vinyasa. If you would like, or you simply go to your downward dog. All right, so from here, inhale, left leg lifts. As you exhale, find that knee curling to nose feeling to help step that foot through. Walk it off to the right. Spin into the back edge of your right foot with your heel to arch. So lock behind that left foot if you have one, or hand can be on shin. Start to spin your chest open. Press to the inner edge of this left foot. Begin to find your triangle pose. So a little different, we're kind of working it from the floor up. Sometimes you start standing to find it, so just notice how it might feel different in your body. Root down into the back edge of your right foot. As you press to the inner edge of your left foot. And then take up lots of space here. So you have giant wings that you're spreading out. Beautiful. Gaze can be down, forward, or up. These both look really nice. Okay, so we're gonna do that transition into our Ardha Chandrasana. So if you wanted to do that with your wrap, so you get that nice shoulder opening, start to spin that top palm to face behind you. And then reach down, grab a piece of shirt or the inside of that left thigh. Let me get situated here. All right, keep your chest open. We are taking triangle pose and simply turning on its side. So bring your gaze down, bend that left knee, walk the block forward. And again, you can step that back foot in a little bit if you need to, but if you just want to, press to the inner edge of that left foot and then start to lift that right foot. You can go there. Your right toes are pointing forward. You should be able to look back and see that hip in those toes. We're not trying to stack here. Feel the inner left thigh wrap towards the outer left thigh, the glutes. And then go ahead, extend your right arm up. So you can stay here, and you can definitely see tree pose here. Or not tree pose, triangle pose. If you want to come into this Shavasana, bend the right knee. Maybe the foot is there. One side always seems to be harder than the other. Good, spinning, spinning, spinning. Those left ribs up towards the ceiling, kicking that foot into your hand, feeling that glorious hip flexor stretch. And then go ahead and release. All right, so we're going to start to square our hips. And you are both playing with this. So palms plant, fingers spread. Keep this right leg lifted. Keep your gaze slightly ahead of your fingertips. And just try to hop your left foot up off the mat. So not a lot of kick in that top leg. And you're gonna find this moment where you just float. So do one or two more. And when you're cooked, step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhaling, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana, chair pose. As you exhale, press your legs to straight. Hands come together at your heart. Ooh, I got a little head rush. your breath slow down. All right, so I do want to give you the opportunity here to play with your handstand, assuming that you have a place at the wall that you can go to. And if you don't, you can just continue with those little bunny hops. We're essentially going to be doing that at the wall, and it just gives us a little courage because there's something that's going to catch us. So you can just watch this really quick, what I'm going to do. And you don't necessarily need your mat. So you're going to come into a downward facing dog at the wall. And your fingers are going to be slightly away. I'm probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches, and you can kind of play with this. So naturally, there's going to be a leg that wants to step forward here. So just step that leg forward. And then I want you to start to lift that other leg up and start to shift your shoulders above your wrists. It's really important here to look at the crease of the floor and the wall. And it feels counterintuitive, but keeping your gaze forward like that is going to help you to get your hips up over your shoulders. And then the same thing here. So let's kick with this top leg, more hop with the bottom leg. So it's like that top leg is a little anchor. And then if you get up, maybe bring your heels away from the mat. You're trying to direct your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So it's like you're doing Tadasana, standing up. And then you can play with kicking the other leg. And again, if you don't want to do this at the wall, you can just continue doing that little exercise that we did, kind of that standing splits variation. Oh, nice, Jen. That's good, Neil. It's how it starts. And then if you haven't tried the opposite leg, try doing that. So it's going to feel really awkward, but if you can resist the urge to kick with the top leg and instead hop with the lower leg, sometimes I find it's actually easier to float up on the off side. It's almost like your muscles engage more because it's more challenging. Oh, beautiful, Jen. We're almost there. So when you're cooked, just go ahead and come into a downward facing dog, just to give yourself a little counter pose, a little rest. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Okay, so a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. Peek forward between your hands. As you exhale, we're gonna hop forward to seated, so you can kind of spring forward, cross at the ankles, and then come onto your back. So a little back bending here. Just to counter that, those fun handstands. So ankles underneath your knees, arms by your side. As you inhale, start to direct your tailbone forward, lower belly pulls in and up. Press into your feet, start to lift your hips. You can gently tuck your chin in towards your chest, and actually you might even think of bringing your chest towards your chin and snuggle the arms underneath you so you get this beautiful thoracic back bend. If you want to grab the outer edges of your mat or walk your hands closer to your heels, you're welcome to do that. You can interlace fingers underneath you. Good, inhale, press into your feet, lift the hips a little higher. And then exhale, slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Good, and let's do one more. So I'm gonna give you the option to play with your upward facing, your wheel pose, upward facing bow if you'd like to do that, or you can just stick with your bridge. So if you do want to play with your upward facing wheel, you're gonna flip your arms back behind you. Elbows are gonna squeeze in, so your fingertips are pointing down towards your shoulders. And then the elbows love to splay out here. So you have to squeeze them in a lot. And then we're gonna move in stages here. So take a deep inhale, feel the lower belly pulling it up. As you exhale, you're gonna press into your hands. I just want you to come to the top of your head. And this might be all the further you go. If you've made it to the top of your head, you can look between your elbows, squeeze them in. Next inhale, press equally into hands and into legs. Start to potentially lift your head up off the mat. It may or may not happen. Elbows squeeze in, inner thighs release down. The feet love to turn out here. Gorgeous, Jen. Take another deep inhale. If you're in bridge, you lower down. You back out of that upward facing bow. And then very, very gentle here, give the knees a nice little squeeze into the chest. Those were great. Rock a little bit from side to side, so that deep back bending, we want to counter that. Before we find a little twist, let's just come into a nice hip opener here. So release the left foot to the floor, cross the right ankle above that left knee. You can stay here like this, just gently pressing your right palm to your thigh. You might bend that left knee to your chest. You could interlace fingers around your shin or that left thigh. And then you can wedge your elbow into that hip crease here. And this should probably be enough today. We haven't done tons of hip stuff. If it feels like you can go a little further here, you might do a reclining single pigeon. So you forklift that lower right leg with your elbows. And if you start to come up off the mat, maybe this variation isn't right for you today. And then perhaps you start to extend your left leg to straight on the mat. So it's really active, toes point up towards the ceiling. With that little forklift, you start to bring that shin closer to your chest. And you can be doing this too, these same things, even if you're in that reclining pigeon as you're holding, pressing that thigh inward, that shin inward. Good, as you inhale, start to bend. That left knee in, if you had that leg extended, just exit the way you came in, and we take the second side. So a few different places you can go here. So for a lot of us, just laying like this, flat, trying to press that left knee forward is plenty of hip stretch. I'm feeling it a lot today. So you can just be here, breathing in to these tight spaces. If you want to go a little further, start to hug right knee in, interlacing fingers either around your thigh or your shin. Keep those shoulder blades pressing evenly. Keep that left foot flexed to protect that left knee. Maybe wedge that elbow into the thigh. And then finally, if you wanted to play with that reclining single pigeon variation, forklift to your lower left leg, and then start to squeeze leg in towards your chest, extending right leg straight on the floor. It's really active. It's as though you're standing on it. So that inner thigh is releasing down. Breath slowing down here. It's probably automatically done it, but bring a little attention to it. Maybe inhaling to the count of 7 or 8 or 9. And then exhaling to that same number. Start to bend that right knee back in if you had it extended to straight. Release here. Good, and then we're gonna come into a twist here. So walk your feet as wide as your mat, and then just allow your knees to windshield wiper off to the left. You can take your arms out in a T shape. You can just stay here like this. Maybe you take left ankle just above right knee, and then start to gaze out over your left fingertips. This doesn't feel good in your body, you can just do a classic twist here, where you're stacking your knees on top of each other. They're both good options. Inhale up to center. We'll actually uncross your inhale up to center if you're just doing classic twist. Uncross that left ankle. So knees stay wide. And then the windshield wiper off to the left, maybe taking, off to the right, maybe taking right ankle above that left knee. Easing out over your left fingertips. You can just be in the classic version of this, knees stacking on top of each other. So nice little release for the back, especially after those bridge poses, those wheel poses. Right here, I want you to start to find Shavasana in your upper body. So shoulders are getting heavy, pressing down onto the mat. You're feeling a little lift of your sternum. Inhale, knees back to center if you have them stacked. Uncross right ankle, and then come back to center. Good, and if you need one final squeeze of your knees into your chest, you can take that. Otherwise, you can start to extend legs to straight. You can always take something rolled up underneath your knees if this is uncomfortable on your lower back. You can also simply keep the knees bent, feet wide, knees knocking towards each other. Deep inhale. Open your mouth, side of our butt, let go. Ha. And you melt into a peaceful, restful Shavasana here. So you have a couple more moments to be quiet, to be still, to absorb all of the hard work you've done. Let all of those poses just percolate around in your body. Make sure there's no grip, that there is a sense of ease, that you feel very supported in the floor underneath you. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth. Let the breath go. Ha. Good. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. So you're just bringing this gentle movement back to your body. You're bringing your awareness back to your body. Staying soft and quiet, roll to one side or the other, just finding that fetal position. Pausing there a moment. And then you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. We've been here already. How does it feel different? Can you feel more length in your spine? Do you feel the shoulders stacking over your sit bones? With all this length you've created, can you feel the expansiveness of your breath? How it really fills the four corners of your body. Just checking with that headspace. So hopefully there is a sense of joy, of stillness, of focus. Promise yourself that you're going to hold on to this as long as you can during the rest of the day, the rest of the week. If you lose it, maybe you'll just pause, check in, take a moment or two to breathe. So bringing your palms together at your heart, just bowing your head with love and gratitude. Thank you, Neil and Jen. Great work today. Namaste.